Hey guys, we're watching Volcor's videos, and this is a response to Adam Agro from his channel Red South City on his international gaming tag video. No, I'm not from some other nation or whatever, but I really like the questions he asked, and I'm going to answer them whether he likes it or not. No, I'm kidding. And if you want to answer them, go for it. Make a response. I'd love to see a response. And I'm going to tag 2 other YouTubers at the end of this video, so yeah. Whether they're from a different nation or not, I still want to know. So let's, without further stalling, question number 1, my favorite console. Very simple. If you don't know me, if you know me, it's pretty obvious. If you don't know me, it's the freaking Super Nintendo. My older cousin had it, and when he was done with it, I got it. When he got the PlayStation, boo. The controller, I love the controller. It's so simple, yet so it's just perfect in my opinion. You don't need an analog stick and a D-pad and like 7 other buttons to get confused with. This is where it all comes down to. Pretty much the PlayStation uses the same 4 face. Pretty much every console now uses 4 face buttons now. I would call these face buttons. I call the start and select menu buttons, just because, whatever. Because you don't really use start and select unless you're in a menu or pausing or whatever. And then you have your 2 shoulder buttons. It's so simple. It's pretty much the platform that really passes on. I don't know what that means, but pretty much every controller has taken something from the Super Nintendo. Now the Genesis, it went by 6 buttons, but no shoulder except for a mode, which is like a select. I like the Genesis controller, but what I've seen, most of them get sticky after a while, or that's just what I've seen. I haven't come across any Super Nintendo controllers that I've used and don't work that well. But yeah, I pretty much love the Super Nintendo for all its great games. I have about 174, which I'll show a clip of. Ooh. And they were colorful sprites, awesome music, the eject button. You don't have to worry about your games getting scratched or ruined. They're pretty much durable and they last forever. So yeah, the Super Nintendo. Close second is the NES. The awesome arcade classics, pick and play, simplicity, and those are built to last forever too. I've never had any problems with my NESs. Some people have had problems with their pin connectors, not me. Of course, blowing to a million times, but other than that. And tied with the close third is the Lunchbox for its, awesome Nintendo first-party classics, Mario Parties, the Metroids, the Marios, the Mario Sports games. I like Mario Kart. I like them all. It's so durable, except the lens went out. But this is a purple one. That's a common thing, the purple ones. And you could buy memory cards for them. Unlike, the tie is the Sex Box. I call it Sex Box just because it's a big old beast. This thing's massive. 4 controller ports, and for some reason, it's got a PlayStation logo. It's my Sex Box, and I named her Sony. But yeah, the hard drive is built in, so you can just load it up full of music, and that was pretty cool back in the day. You could have LAN parties, which the GameCube was supposed to have, but only had support with like 2 games. I love the Xbox. Most people had a PlayStation 2. I didn't care about RPGs. I still don't really care about RPGs, but the Xbox is more about sports and action shooters. And the PlayStation still had a lot of shooters and action games. It still required multi-tap, and I prefer this Xbox controller to the PS2. Any day of the week. However, when it comes to the next gen with the 360 and the PS3, flip-flop. I prefer the opposite. That's just me. Mostly because the 360 had a red ring of death failure rate of like 100%. No, 110%. But yeah, I love this Xbox. Another awesome thing was the built-in power supply, so you never had to fret about losing your power brick. You just grab, you know, some random power supply and you got it. So that was my second question. Favorite consoles. Let's see. My purchase I most regret. This is pretty simple. I mean, pretty easy. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. First of all, Star Fox Adventures. Game had just came out like 3 days before I bought it. I didn't know much about it. I just knew I loved Star Fox. I played the first one. I played Star Fox 64, and I loved it. I beat him and beat him and beat him. But this one was different. You don't fly around that much, just from planet to planet, and I got stuck so many times, and that was the last time I shelled out $50 for any game without knowing for sure I was going to love it. I didn't buy a new game for $50 until I bought Guitar Hero Metallica like 10 years later. I don't know, a long time. Or probably 6 years, something like that. And then Beautiful Joe. This game isn't it. This is example. It was Red Hot Rumble. I got for my birthday because I thought, oh, Beautiful Joe, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be like Smash Brothers, only with Beautiful Joe. No, it sucked balls. It was complete utter trash. And I took it to GameStop like a year or two after I got it and traded it for Capcom versus SNK 2 for the GameCube, which I'm surprised I got that much for it. And then lastly, Gunpei DS. The game's not all that bad, yet not all that good. Pretty much, you got average scores anywhere from a 3 out of 5, 7-ish, you know, all around the middles. But the game isn't that bad. The thing that sucks though is the box lies. It says right there, download play, 1 of 4 players, single card download play, but there isn't any. I called Namco Bandai, but they're like, oh, sorry about your luck, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, chump, you should buy me a game. I want my money back. But it does have wireless DS multi-card play, but that does not do any good because I wanted to play this with my brother that had a DS. We weren't going to buy 2 of the same game, and it's retarded. That's not what the DS is about. But I still have it. It's okay to play every once in a while, but I could have gotten a much better game for $20. Like Planet Puzzle League nowadays, or Space Invaders Extreme. That game's awesome. This game, it's okay if you're a collector, if you're into puzzle games like I am, but if you're expecting to download play, like it says in the box, don't lie. You know, actually put it in the box. Freaking Namco Bandai. And do you think video game ratings are important or relevant? I definitely think they are. I mean, would I buy Beautiful Joe if it was rated mature? Heck yes, I would. I mean, who wouldn't want to see some nudity? No, I'm kidding. It's definitely a good thing to know if there's going to be nudity, violence, obscure vulgarity, and obscurity. It's a good thing to know ahead of time, so you don't buy some game and you think it's going to be fun for the whole family, and then you see a bunch of naked people killing each other. You know, that's not good, especially around kids or adults. I mean, like, you know, if you're going to showcase this game to your grandma, you don't want to show your grandma a bunch of naked people killing each other. It's not a good thing. So, the SRB, it's not great, but it's okay. It works, you know. And as for ratings, like reviews and scores, I very much like that too. However, the reviews aren't always right. However, you have to look at what the game is about. If the game gets a 7 out of 10, chances are, if you're interested in that type of game, you could like it. If it's a 10 out of 10 and you're interested in that type of game, you most definitely should most definitely like it. If the game gets a 3, why would you like it? That's the way I look at it. The higher score, the more likely you would like it. Not how good the game is per se. It's just like a higher chance you would like it. Now, the people that go out and buy Hannah Montana, you know, whatever crap games, and just like anyways, they're just clueless kids or just stupid. Because they're just that bad, and people, whatever, it's just horrible. So it's great we have reviews nowadays, and so we can find out if games are worth our cash or they're just good enough for the trash, pretty much. And it sucks when you have biased reviewers, but whatever. You can always check another site. You know, I always go to Metacritic so I can read, pretty much get every review from like 100 different review sites at one source. At least most popular games get like at least 12, 30 reviews from that many different sources. I mean, publisher, you know, what do you call it? Professional review sites, and then like maybe 12 to 20 user reviews. That's Metacritic. It's great. So yeah, I care about reviews and felt reviews. The gaming today would kind of, I don't want to say suck, but it would be harder to get a good game like it would be back in the 80s. Well, you had no idea. All you could do is just pick up the game and just buy it and see. And then once you buy, you know, what, Friday the 13th, and you find out that game sucks, well, you're screwed. You can't take it back. Well, I guess you could way back then, but shortly after, you couldn't take your games back when they're new. But that's it for me. I tag MN12Bird, and I tag JDM212, I think. What's his name? Tolstoy, Kafka, evsky. You've been tagged. TMD121. So, if you want a response to this, go for it. Have at it. As for me, hasta la pasta. Leave comments below.